Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Mind Your Business. This is the show where we get to talk about business because, business is actually one way, one really important way that we can actually create wealth and impact people, which is a great thing to do while we are alive, right? And so, Tuesdays at 12 noon GMT on our YouTube channel, we premiere this video, but you can always come and watch the replay if you missed the premiering. Today, I have a guest whom I've been looking forward to interviewing. Her name is Radia, and I'm going to read her bio so we know who it is we are chatting with today. Radia Adama Saani is the CEO of MoonTouch Travel Limited, one of the leading travel and tour companies in Ghana. She is founding member and the head of corporate affairs for Operators Alliance Ghana, that is Atwa of Africa Tour. She is also an executive of Ghana Travel Consultants. She started her career in Ghana and became an in-flight attendant with Ghana Airports Company Limited, and then later with Kenya Airways Limited. Aside her advancing in her career in the aviation and travel industry, she's also academically excellent in the sector. She holds a master's degree in international hospitality and tourism management from Sheffield Hallam University in the UK. She also had her first degree and diploma in a similar field from Université Abdel Sadi. Did I get that? It's in Morocco. So actually, she speaks French and English very fluently. She's also very resourced in the hospitality industry. She had stints with Travel Lodge, which actually happens to be the biggest UK hotel chain, one of the biggest hotel chain companies in the UK. She also served as a PRO of Hot Cat Hotel Catering and Tourism Training Institute, which is under the Ministry of Tourism in Ghana. She's always desired to become one of the most successful entrepreneurs, even as a child. She's a great networker and has built a strong entrepreneurship and marketing skills, which has assisted her in building a strong brand in the travel industry. She's won several awards, including being named one of the 40 under 40 in Ghana, and so many other awards. She's married with a child, and she's very passionate about entrepreneurship, aviation, diplomacy, and all that. Ladies, today, and gentlemen, today let's sit and listen to this conversation with Radia, the CEO. Thank you so much, Radia, for making time to sit with me today on Mind Your Business. I have a lot of questions for you, but the first one I need to get out of my system. I've been meaning to ask someone for so long, a flight attendant. Now, I know you are not a flight attendant anymore, but I need to ask. When you are on the plane, serving and, attending to us, don't you ever get scared? Don't you ever worry? Like you're just, sometimes I see turbulent times and you guys are still walking and making sure we are all fine. Sometimes the plane is shaking and you are going up and down. Don't you ever get scared?
Well, thanks so much, Lady Amma, for inviting me to this fabulous interview or chat. Actually, when you are a flight attendant, because of the trainings that you undergo before you actually start serving on board, there are certain things that you would might have overcome already. The training cut across a whole lot, from safety to security to in-flight services and a whole lot. So they actually would train you, and they would try to psych you towards the dangers in the job before you actually start. So by the time you actually begin working as an in-flight attendant, by that time you might have become a guru, because you would go through at least about 3 months training before. You are aware of the turbulences ahead. what you are supposed to do in case of anything like that sort. And so one secret I'll show you is the shoes that we wear. We don't just wear them for fashion, just to have heels on and all that. Well, we wear those ones with the heels when we are in the airport terminal. And when you get into the flight, there are actually some preparations you do before you give order to the ground staff that you are ready for boarding, and they now bring in the passengers. And those preparations include your costume. So you've got to change into your apron. And so you remove your suit, change into your apron. You now change your high heels to a flat one. And then the flat ones actually, under the sole of it, have, I don't know the technical term that is used for that, but it has some kind of protective item under the sole of the flat shoe that you'll be wearing to serve. And that is what actually supports us mostly when we are serving, and especially when there are turbulences and there are lots of shakes in the aircraft, and you can still stand, upright in order to do your work accurately.
I see. Right. So there's a secret. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Everything about serving on board is very technical. Everything is very, very technical and strictly followed by strict rules. Nonetheless, I wouldn't say that if you are a flight attendant because of the trainings, then you are 100% perfect. No, there are certain times that it happens that you just can't control the level of turbulence that comes your way. I have a personal experience.
Please share.
That I can never forget. Actually, we were doing services, and then when you finish serving the main meals and drinks, then you move to tea and coffee. Mm-hmm. So we're actually doing tea and coffee, and then there was one particular passenger that was at the window seat, and then a white man with his laptop was at the aisle seat. So the one at the window seat, the passenger at the window seat, requested for coffee from me, and I went to the galley to get it ready for him. I brought it just as at the time I was about to stretch myself to offer him his coffee. There was turbulence at that very moment. Something I was not even aware was about happening. And so I just had the whole hot coffee pour on the laptop of the white guy that was seated at the aisle seat. And he was extremely mad. He just went very crazy at once. And he was like, oh my God, I'm traveling to Nairobi for a conference. I'm preparing my everything. And then the laptop actually shut. I don't know whether it was because of the hot liquid. The whole thing went off and the laptop just could not come on. And he was like, his whole expose and presentation, everything on the laptop that he's going to attend the conference with, everything has been vanished and spoiled. And it's like, I just ruined his whole trip. And there was no amount of apology that really helped the situation. To an extent, I went in to call first officer. We normally have two people in the cockpit. That's the pilot, known as the captain, and then the first officer is the assistant. I first informed the flight purser, that is the head of the cabin crew on board. She came to apologize, which she did not accept. Then we went ahead to call first officer. He came out, and when the flight is at a safer altitude, like 36,000 feet above sea level, actually the captain or the first officer, they don't really control the aircraft. They are just in their cockpit, actually monitoring things. So they don't do anything with their hands. So they can come out actually to even interact with passengers and go back in. They can have their tea and coffee. They can read newspapers and all that. So I went in and we informed the flight. We informed the first officer. He came out. This man so could not just understand. He insisted he needed to see the captain because he was really frustrated. And so we had to call in captain to come out to the cabin, passenger cabin, to speak to the man. And then the captain came out, and then the man insisted he needed a new laptop from the airline. And so we had to
right away.
Right away. So, and on top of that, he also filled a complaint form. Mm-hmm. And also requested for a new laptop. Fortunately, the airline understood, and then with the witnesses of some few passengers, they realized that it was entirely not the fault of the cabin crew that was serving. It was just a natural
Yeah.
disaster that happened at that very moment. It's just that because it affected his work, he was finding it difficult to accept or understand. So the airline went ahead to compensate him with a new laptop. And then I was also queried for that.
Oh my God.
And I just had to learn from the mistake, and that was it. Even the one that requested for the coffee, because of what happened, he just decided to ignore the whole request. He didn't even take a coffee at the end because his request actually ended up spoiling someone else, schedule and all that. So sometimes such things happen on board.
Now you are no more handling flights and all. You are now a travel consultant. Let's talk about that. At which point in your corporate life did you decide that, you know what, I'm going to go start my own business? What happened?
Actually, I've had aviation experience for about 10 years now. So my aviation experience did not just start from me being a flight attendant. Mm-hmm. I was actually working with Ghana Airport Company Limited, customer service, where we had routine schedule. We sometimes work at arrivals, departure hall, and so many other areas in the airport. So I already knew a lot about airlines and their operations and every corner of the airport and what passengers, passenger formalities, boarding formalities, what one has to do when he gets to the airport and a whole lot of things like that. Actually, before I joined Kenya Airways, I flew with Kenya Airways for about 2.5 years, kind of 10 to 3 years. But what happened alongside was, after I had my baby, it was very difficult for me to go back to Nairobi for a refresher course. Because when you're a flight attendant and you're pregnant, you get to serve on board till 4 months, and then you'll be grounded. Because if you're not grounded from the 4th month, you may miscarry.
Yeah.
So you'll be grounded to now work in the ticketing office of the airline. And then after delivery and after your maternity leave period and all that, because of that long stay out of services on board and then all that, you have to attend a refresher course to get upgraded with the safety rules and the security rules and a whole lot of things. And before you are fit to fly again. So with such refresher courses, mostly we have to go to Nairobi to do that. And sometimes it can take like a month or two. And I was finding it very difficult to leave my tiny baby to go to Nairobi for a whole 2 months to come back. And I wanted to go with my mom so she could take care of the baby. But the airline was also finding it difficult to accept because it means that I'll have to cater for her bills and all her travel expenses and all that. And at that point, I thought I also had that intention of furthering my education in the same career path, the same aviation or tourism. And I had admission to go to UK to study MSc in International Hospitality and Tourism Management. So whilst I was going through the procedure in obtaining my master's in the UK, I felt that then there was actually no need to go back to Kenya Airways, because if I do, it's a private company. So I couldn't have requested for a study leave. Because when you do, they can't grant you as a private company. So whatever be the case, you still have to resign in order to go. So I just thought that let me just take my time, take care of my baby till he is 1 or more. Then my school could be ready for me to travel to UK to continue. And when I'm back, then I think of what next to do. But once aviation is my passion, I never really had any intention of diverting to any other path. I just wanted to continue in that same line. So obviously, I knew that after my completion of my studies, when I'm back, it's either I go back to Ghana Airport Company Limited, or I find my own private consultancy in aviation to handle. So when I was back, I actually waited. I realized that no, it's better I start with mine and gain more experience, also gain more management experience in handling official duties and all that. Then later on, I could think of other options. So that was what formed my decision to stop flying. But I really enjoyed it.
And then you started MoonTouch Travel Limited.
Yes.
And I mean, I'm really impressed. I think we've been communicating maybe for 3 years now. I've seen how your business is growing. I've seen all the various media platforms and all that you're doing. I mean, I'm always commending you, and you know that, right? I really admire what you're doing. I know that in this season, for a little over a year now, COVID happened and it has sort of disrupted, not sort of, it has disrupted the travel industry. But I see you still kicking on, still moving and all that. How have you managed? How have you coped?
Let me just start by saying is by the grace of God, because COVID came unexpectedly. We all just didn't know this was happening. We had booked trips and tours for people in Singapore, in Dubai, where we went. Just the following week, we realized that no, the whole world was just shutting down, just like that. So for COVID, and the best way we would come out of such a situation, you know, the aviation industry was one of the most affected,
of course,
or impacted negatively, because even most businesses had resumed and our airports were so closed.
Yeah.
And eventually, when even our airports was open in Ghana, the start was so a struggle.
Yeah.
Because Lady Adama, you agree with me that it takes 2 destinations to travel. Exactly. And so it takes 2 airports to travel. But trust me, immediately the airport was open, Kotoka was opened, passengers started rushing, checking first to destinations here and there, to Sao Tome, to Singapore and all that. And those places, their airports were not open. How do you go? So even though our airport was open, the impact was so very huge on us. The negative impact in terms of business was very huge, because there are even till now, there are still very limited places to travel to. A lot of Ghanaians actually have Europe as their destination. A lot of Ghanaians travel to Spain, to Holland, and well, but as of now, they are still not ready to accept visitors' visits into Europe. And so about 90% of Ghanaians who normally travel to Europe are still here, who go for holiday for 2 weeks, 1 month, and back. They are still here. No one can go anywhere. So the impact is huge. But one of the secrets for me, I always rely on 3 acronyms when it comes to my professional life or business. So the that's ABC. I use the ABC formula. The A is the ability to strive. So no matter the challenges that you are going through, or no matter how life has squeezed certain things on you, you have to find solutions. I always believe in finding solutions out of negative situations. Yeah. And then the B is the building a strong network. Building a strong network, because if your network is very limited, your business scope is also going to be very, very limited.
Absolutely.
Right. And the network is what will allow you to actually get customers or clients. One person introduces somebody to you, that person is pleased with your services. She also recommends someone else to you. And since we actually started working again after a long closure of our offices, this is the only thing that really kept our business going. You know.
I see.
Right. And then the C is sorry.
No, it's fine.
C. Right. C is the consequences that you face as a result of, sometimes you see challenges and you try to find solutions in the midst of those challenges.
Yeah.
But there are some consequences that you still have to face.
Exactly.
No matter what happens.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
So if you don't prepare yourself towards those kind of consequences that you face, then some kind of shocks would always try to pull you back.
True.
So when we resumed operations again, I prepared myself towards those shocks. For instance, we can prepare a ticket for someone today to travel in a month time, and within a month time, that very country aviation COVID rules will change, where the airports of that very country will be closed again, or they will have a lockdown again, And so you have to go through refund process for the person to get their money back and all. So if you don't prepare yourself towards those kind of shocks, then you would actually even fidget out, because you just think that, no, situations are getting more difficult and difficult. So let me just close and sit home and wait till the world gets better. But the only problem is that if we decide to stay home and wait for everything to be 100% perfect, one does not know the future. And you can't tell if you have to be home for 10 years or 5 years. We all thought COVID was something like how Ebola came within 2-3 months and then the whole situation stabilized. Initially, we all thought COVID was going to be that way. But here is the case. We're entering into the second year. And COVID is still here. Mm-hmm. Right. So if you don't prepare yourself towards this kind of unknown situations, then you just give up. So this is where the whole strength will have to come in. Mm. So it's not really been easy though. There have been lots of difficult moments we've even had with passengers. For instance, during the lockdown time where no one could go anywhere, passengers who had their tickets, later on, when they felt they could travel and they had to change dates, we are a travel agent. We are just in between airline and the passenger. All ticket rules are not generated from us. It's generated from the airline. Mm-hmm. Now, some airlines will tell you that you have to pay for price difference for change of date to travel. On the side of the airline, they feel they have made lots of losses. And in ticketing rules, as at the time you bought your ticket, the price was this. Now you're ready to go and the price is now this. Please pay the difference. And they were trying to still follow by that rule. On the side of passengers, they just could not understand why there was nothing that was their fault. And yet they still have to spend money to pay for price differences in order to travel as at the time they could travel. And some of them felt that their monies were actually locked with the airline for about half a year, and now that they're ready to go, the airline is asking them to pay something extra. So you, as a travel agent, you find yourself in between the two, trying to explain to this party and trying to explain to this party. Lady Ama, all this, if you don't have that form of resilience or that kind of special grace or strength in you, you just give up on the job or on the business, because every day comes with difficult situations to handle. But one secret is that we started doing the tours, especially for Dubai. Dubai is a very safe destination to go to. Now, let me say it's the safest for now, where you still can go and have fun one way or the other and you're able to come back. So we started doing groups for Dubai again and started informing people that, look, after all, it's not too scary to travel. And even if you are going to travel, you get a chance to test to know whether you are COVID positive or negative. But if you are stuck home, you will never bother to go and even have a check. Mm-hmm. So somehow it's even safer. So these are the kind of things that we just use to encourage travelers. And now things are picking up bit by bit. And then another thing that has kept us in business is we decided to concentrate on the domestic. At first, we're just doing the international international tours and all that. Yeah. But I realized that these days I send you more flights on the island and some other places than even the Dubai, because we feel no matter what happens, our own country, we don't really have too much restriction within. But border to border, there are certain restrictions. So the domestic is working for us. The domestic airline travel too has had a very tremendous increase passenger volume, especially for this period. So now we do lots of bookings on domestic. And even though those ones, the commissions are actually little, but trust me, if you're able to do about 10, 20 or 15 bookings a day, and you multiply that by a month, you realize that no, this what the little that you're getting from each is enough to pay salaries of your staff, to pay your bills and all that. So all these points are the things that actually keep us going.
I see. Well done. You are resilient. And I like your ABC model as well. Thank you for sharing. Now, the women, and a lot of the women in our community, we are very, very hardworking women. We are taking care of our families, doing XYZ. We also desire to travel. But, when it comes to going outside for vacation, it's not the cheapest thing. It takes a lot of planning and all. Can you advise us on, or share a few tips on how to plan international vacations for ourselves, for our families? Sometimes our worry is, oh, I can't leave my children alone, or I don't have money. I mean, you have dealt with a lot of such women. Can you share tips on how to prepare to travel or plan to travel?
Women are always suffering. And the idea of childbirth and all that is always affecting our career one way or the other. I have personally experienced that as well. To be honest, traveling whilst leaving kids behind is a difficult thing to do. Sometimes even the courage to get to convince your family that you are not a bad woman after all, by leaving your kids to travel just for holidays, just for going distress, to have some good rest and come back. You know, sometimes, especially the men, the way they judge men, the first thing they'll ask you is, so are you going to look at all these kids and leave them just to travel and go and have fun? Are you not a responsible woman? And this, I think that if our partners are more understanding, or if we find a nice way to convince them over certain things, to also take some responsibility, especially about taking care of our children, I think that it would offer us that chance to be able to travel more. But then again, you know, there are majority of ladies who think that if they have to travel, it's the man that has to cater for the whole travel expenses. And sometimes the man could even indirectly be stopping you from the travel, not because of the kids that you will be leaving behind, but just because of the expenses he himself is going to incur. Because even if you manage to get your own flight tickets and your hotel bookings and everything, you'll still stand on his neck to give you money for shopping. Am I lying? So
it depends. I guess it depends on the man you are married to. There are some men who won't even understand this. If you want to go, go.
Yeah. So if we are more financially independent, absolutely, I think that we'll have that chance to be able to travel more.
Yeah.
Another issue too is that just as the men sometimes are able to or willing to send the whole family on vacation, I think that once in a while, we the women, we can also take such initiative.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not everything that a man really has to do sometimes. You know, you can decide that, especially if you have a small family of 1 kid, 2 kids, or maximum 3, you can decide to even surprise your husband. We are going on a family trip, you know, and I'll take care of all expenses. And in that way, you could even be saving bit by bit with your trusted travel agents. Because sometimes there are some people that if you don't trust them, you're keeping your 500 USD, 1,000 USD monthly with them. At the end, they'll just end up giving you some story. If you have a trusted travel agent, you can actually be saving bit by bit monthly. You can have a budget of 500 USD monthly paying. So you can cater for the trip of the entire family, and you can go and have fun and back.
Yeah.
And sometimes too, I think the women groups, you know, just girls or ladies coming together to have a fun trip. That one too works. And even sometimes the men are more secure with that one. So they think that you are not just alone. You are in the company of your other women, you know, you're traveling to go and have fun. They equally have kids too, but their husbands or their family understand them and ready to take care of their kids while they go to distress and be back. So sometimes forming such kind of fun trips with your fellow ladies also helps, or make it easier for you to be able to travel.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's just about so in a nutshell, the 3 things to handle is being financially independent.
I agree.
2, ready to sponsor your family trip too, if you really need it. And then you can be saving bit by bit with a trusted travel agent. And then the 3rd thing is that you can also go with your friends, in a form of a ladies group.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one last thing is that don't overstay. Don't overstay. Not in
That's a
terms of
good point.
visa period. I'm not talking about overstay in terms of visa period, but just make your holidays more reasonable. You don't say you are going for holidays and go in somewhere and spend over 1 month, abandoning your family and all that.
Yeah.
Sometimes holidays, sometimes all you need is just a week or 2 weeks to be away, and you really have fun as well.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely. You're right. Now, I have another question for people who want to fly. Like, I have a friend here. You remember last 2 years we did a girls' trip to Dubai. And there was a lady whose sister wanted to pay for her, all expenses paid to go. This woman didn't come. Why? Because she was afraid of flying. Now, for women like these, what tips do you have for us to help us? Because for a lot of us, the fear is real. What tips do you have for us to be able to fly without worrying that the plane will come down or someone will bomb the plane or something? What tips do you have for that?
Right. Well, first of all, air travel appears to be the safest amongst all forms of travel, safer than road and all, because accidents with regards to air travel it seldom happens. Very, very, very minimal. If you check Ghana records in terms of accidents, a whole year they can record about 5,000 road accidents or 6,000 or whatever the number could be. But there could be no even one particular accident that is related to aviation. So first of all, people have to get to know that it's really very safe to travel, to fly. It's very, very, because trust me, the safety precautions that are being put in an aircraft, even before it operates, you have no idea. If everything has to be shared with passengers, you realize that there's really a whole lot of protection or protective things that go on with aircraft travel. For instance, in terms of hijacking or something like that, so since after September 11 issue from the incident from US, there have actually been lots of advancement in terms of safety and security. And now people cannot just hijack an aircraft just like that, because in order to hijack an aircraft, you've got to get access to the cockpits, and order the captains to do whatever that you want. But unlike first, before September 11, the cockpit door was just open, and passengers could even walk in to peep to see how flight operation happens and all that. But realize that now it is an exclusive place, and then the doors are also bulletproof doors and also fireproof doors, and no one can actually break. So it has security codes. Even we flight attendants, before we can get in to serve them tea or coffee or any meal, they only share the code with just the flight person, the aircrafts. And if you don't use those security codes, you can't even open that door to get access to them. So you realize that after September 11, there have been very minimal issue of hijacking of aircrafts.
Yeah.
So it's really safe. But all in all, for human fear, it's a natural thing. So there's no amount of words that can really convince some people sometimes. The only way out is that they have to try, because normally this happens to first-time travelers. That fear of traveling happens first-time traveling, or people who have had a flight and then the whole routine has been about the turbulences and then the shakings and all that. So they occupy their mindset with such kind of attitude that if you're in a flight, all you have to do is to grab your seat strongly this way because of the turbulences and all that. So it depends on the first experience the person gets on an aircraft whilst traveling. That will inform the person's decision about having that kind of fear for traveling, for flying or not. But another way to overcome this is you can actually decide to do more of the domestic travel, because the way traveling is, the more you fly, the more you get you get used to certain things, and you get used to the flying and the aircraft environment and all that. Even the aircraft safety features and everything, you get more familiar with it as you travel more. But traveling is expensive. You can't just say for the for the reason of trying to overcome fear. So you have to just be spending money, be traveling up and down in order to get used to it. No.
Yeah.
But for domestic travel, at least that is a bit cheaper compared to international. So if you have a trip to Kumasi or in the north, take advantage. Instead of going by bus, you can take advantage to fly. If you fly about 3, 4, 5 times, you realize that you somehow get used to flying, even before you have the international experience.
Okay, that's a good point. That's a good point. I'm going to let you go shortly. I've really learned a lot from your this conversation with you. A few things I didn't know before, now I know. And then, of course, iterating the point about flights being it's the safest. We all know. Sometimes we overlook that, but that's good. And then also the point about now the cockpit being so secure that nobody can just go in. And then I think that also calms some of us. I think I've ever had that fear once, that I don't even know what they call them, a terrorist will hijack or something. I don't even know why I thought that, but usually I don't think about that. But this time it just popped in my head and I was like, hey, my friend, remove yourself from my thoughts. I can't have this thought right now. So thank you for that. Now, another question I have for you before I let you go. I have a few more questions. For African women like yourself, who are either already in business like you or are looking to go into business in these COVID times, what advice do you have for us to be able to navigate whatever is happening and still make our businesses happen?
Limited to this COVID time?
Well, generally, what advice?
I've always said that entrepreneurship is for the strong-hearted people.
Strong-hearted.
True that. You know, people think that entrepreneurship is an easy thing to go. And so a lot of people actually venture into it without necessarily even preparing themselves. You know, sometimes you got to even undergo certain trainings. So equip your mindset about challenges of an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship is such a way that today you solve this problem, you think it's getting over. The next day you are bumping into another issue altogether. The more you are finishing solving problems, then the more different issues are just coming up. So you realize that you end up spending your whole life just solving problems. And so if you are not strong enough, you just think that no, business is not a good thing to go. But trust me, business is a very good thing. Another thing people think, or women think, that they have to get into business. Let me put it this way: most women get into business for the wrong reasons, and once they are in the business, then they realize that no, they've actually chosen the wrong path to follow. There are some ladies, because they go to, official work actually takes majority of our time. Office work, you got to be there 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. rush home. Sometimes you don't have the time to go and pick your kids. And so hubby will go like, so why don't you quit and I'll open a shop for you to run on your own, or I'll open this kind of business for you to run on your own. Thinking that because of that time freedom, it's easy for the lady to stop official work in order to go into entrepreneurship. From my personal experience in entrepreneurship, I've realized that the word time freedom in entrepreneurship has been overhyped. Mm-hmm. I think that entrepreneurs rather don't even have the time at all.
Sleep.
No sleep. You are even sleeping. You are thinking of problems. You don't sleep. They don't have the time. One thing that I differentiated between the two is that the time is flexible when you are an entrepreneur. You have a flexible time, but that is not, time freedom.
Yes.
It's not like you have the time to yourself. You have a flexible time. Mama, right now we are having this interview. I'm still in the office. It's past 4 or 3. I can go and pick it from you, because I'm doing something very important at that very moment. Yeah. Even if it is sometimes office, you can have an excuse to go and do a company.
Yeah.
But your own business, something you have to attend to instantly, you have to solve it no matter what happens. Mm-hmm. And so you would, even though you have that time to yourself, that kind of freedom to choose what you want to do at any time point. There are certain times you won't even just own the time. You won't own it. You know,
You're not
so
on
if
your
you
own.
have that mindset that they want to go into business because they just want to have time for themselves, then they should prepare themselves for failure. Because the only time you can actually have enough time for yourself whilst you're running business, your business will go into complete, let me say, I don't know how to, like, you think you are having a business which is not moving. What's the right time to give that?
You are stagnant.
You are just stagnant. You know, there are some people, they claim they are business people. They've opened their shops and all that. And sometimes it takes about a week, 2 weeks, and they don't even have time to go and open their shop. How do you make sales? So if you think that we need more time for ourselves and that's why we want to go into business, then I think that a lot of women should rethink about that. You know, the only thing you can enjoy more when you are an entrepreneur or running business on your own is for the fact that you don't have to request for leave time when you have to travel somewhere. For that one, you really enjoy it. So it's not really like I'm discouraging people from entrepreneurship or something. It has its
advantages.
Yeah. Definitely, once I've talked about the disadvantage, you have to encourage people and let them know the advantages. I have that. I really enjoy that to 100%. When I have to travel somewhere and I don't have to write a letter to request for permission from someone, all I have to do is to put my official duties in order and delegate certain things to my staff. You know, I'm going to be away for a week. Please be in charge of this for me. And then being constantly in touch with them as well. Sometimes we travel to Dubai. When we send groups for holidays, people think we just travel to go and have fun. People will just see our pictures and go like, oh wow, Radia is really having fun. She's traveling around. But no, I'm busy working. I'm really busy. Because we get there, we have to ensure that they enjoy their tours. You have to accompany them to every point. You have to guide them what to do. At the same time, you are constantly on WhatsApp, chatting with your office back home to know what is going on and even solving some problems. So trust me, when I travel outside Ghana, I really don't even have the time for myself. And it's now you just try to manage double work, working where you are and still keep in communication with your staff back home and putting things in order. So, but all in all, I would encourage lots of ladies to go into businesses, to go into entrepreneurship. Well, COVID or no COVID, let's do our best. It's really difficult. The COVID has had an excessive impact, especially on the poor.
Yeah.
But whatever be the case, we can't look at the economic breakdown and decide that we'll give up on life. Once COVID is not giving up on us, we will also give up on life.
Also give up, absolutely.
Yeah. And you know, even this COVID period has been giving people more business ideas, to be very honest. Even me now, I don't just run MoonTouch Travel alone.
What do you do?
I run MoonTouch Construction and Trading Limited. You know, I run MoonTouch Foundation. So now we are becoming a group of companies. And this most of the other two companies that have been open for MoonTouch, the idea came when COVID came, and then we're just locked up at home. Well, that's when the idea. So let's take advantage.
Yeah.
Let's take advantage. The COVID has actually offered lots of people some good advantages and some good business ideas.
Yeah.
So it's just good to grab that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Now I have a few more questions before I let you go. I know you want to pick your kids. I'm also going to pick my kids, so I understand. But so these questions, you have to fill in the blank. Okay, I'm going to say a sentence and then you continue. The first one is, if I could advise my younger self in one short sentence, I would say,
looking back to my younger years, you know, I'm sometimes amazed how life has actually turned. Because growing up, sometimes the kind of plan you have for your life, you realize that no, when you become an adult, it's not the same. So nothing is exactly what I had originally planned. But all in all, the only thing that remains constant is that I stay the same as who I'm really supposed to be, following my passion and my interest and all that. I actually don't have much regrets and to even advise my younger self. I just realized that the only thing is that you should be ready that life would change a lot of things for you when you are growing up. The system itself would shape you So sometimes wanting to be a doctor when you are young and you realize you grow up and realize that no, you are just some, just prepare yourself towards the future and realize that the future is unknown. Probably in a short form, this is what I would have told my younger self. The future is unknown. Let me prepare myself and just embrace anything good that comes my way.
Thank you. I like that. The second one is I am fabulous because
I'm strong and classic.
Ooh, I like that. Classic, definitely you are. And then the final one book that has greatly helped me in business is
GoPro.
By who?
By Eric Ward.
Oh, I see. I have to find
that. It's a network marketing book.
Oh.
I actually started reading it when I was so deep into Max International.
Oh, nice.
An amazing book. It would shape your entrepreneurship skills and mindsets and ideas and all that. Yeah.
Fantastic. Now tell us, so MoonTouch, what exciting packages are you planning that we can all be a part of? Any program happening? Any trips to Dubai, Dodi Island, to the north? What's happening?
Yeah, we actually have some upcoming trips we have to Dubai, of course, and we have for July and also for August. August because most families love to travel with their kids. Yeah. And then to go on holidays, summer holidays start somewhere mid-August to September. So we have a package exclusively for that, for family, more like family package. And then some people just can't actually wait till the August. So we put up something for July as well, combining Nairobi and Dubai together.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and then all that. Another exciting news about MoonTouch is we just recently grabbed another award this year. And this is the second award we're getting for this year alone. And that's the travel, outstanding travel agency in Ghana. That's the award we had from West Africa Business Excellence Awards. Wow. I also had the privilege to be awarded as the best CEO in travel and tour by Northern Excellence.
You are truly the CEO.
Yeah.
Oh, that's and it's beautiful.
Motivating us to work harder.
Yeah.
Because it feels good to realize that people are watching you from afar and recognizing or appreciating the little effort that you are putting up. It really motivates a lot.
Fantastic. I mean, Radia, for a long time still, I've stored your name as Radia Adama Saani, CEO.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes, I've still stored your name as CEO because, I mean, I like your zeal, your go-getter attitude. You are really, really inspirational. Keep doing you and everything. Oh, by the way, so you will send me links and contact details to add, okay, for people who want to, but just share your number or email address. Just say that as well in the video.
Sure. Hi, viewers. If you want the best travel package and best travel consultancy, please contact MoonTouch Travel Limited. Our contact is 0243 577 831. 0243 577 831. We are located on the Spintex Road, but we have clients all across the country. We serve people from the north, from Kumasi, from everywhere else, because for traveling and ticketing, it's an easy thing to do, no matter your location. So we are constantly in touch with our customers, and we'd like to have you as one of our clients as well. Please try our services. We'll be happy with it.
Fantastic. And do you help with getting visas as well?
We do visa support. But with this period, things are really very tough. A lot of countries have actually closed their visa sessions. It's very difficult to assist people to acquire visas. I would advise that more people should do the African routes, because that's easy to travel to.
How was the interview with Radia? I have learned so much, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, okay, I wouldn't say that I am so afraid of flying. I think I've been cured. I was cured sometime last year or so when I had to do like how many trips? Like 22 takeoffs and landing in 2 weeks. After that, I think I got cured. But anyway, I mean, if you have a fear of flying or if you want to fly and you don't know how, I mean, I hope that this conversation has been of value to you. Let me know in the comments what you learned from this. Let me know if you want to reach out to Radia. The numbers that she gave, they are all in the caption as well. Please reach out to them. Let's talk. And also let's do local tours. They are really nice places. Like me, I cannot believe I haven't been to Paga yet. Like I haven't been, even in Ghana, in Kumasi, right here that I live. The sword, the Komfanochi sword, I've been passing by that building for so long that I've never gone once to actually see it. Shame, shame. So anyway, reach out to Radia, get yourself on a tour, go have fun, go see something new, go get inspired to do something new. Until I come your way again, God willing, same time, Tuesday, every Tuesday at 12 noon GMT on our YouTube channel, which is the Fabulous Woman Network. I will see you. Don't forget to subscribe, yeah? Ta!